Hello YouTubers, how are we today? Thank you very much for joining me and I hope you're having a great weekend so far. Well, as you can see, I've placed some buildings on the layout so far just to see how things go. They're not going to be glued down permanently. There's one building that's been glued down permanently because it's very lightweight, but the rest, because they're quite heavy or they're quite tall and I don't want them to get damaged, they're going to be lift on and lift off sort of thing with the footprint just underneath to identify where things go. So we got these little houses over here, and I've had these houses. They're so sentimental. I've had these houses since about 1994, and they're the first ever buildings that I bought from my first ever model railway shop, the Engine Shed in Leytonstone, which is sadly no longer there. But saw those in the window in 1994. They're in the window for about £15, I think, and I thought, oh, those are really nice. And apparently some gentleman had made them. I'm not sure what make they are. I'm not sure if they're polar or whatever they are, but they're really nice. And again, they're individual. They're not the same. And I just basically gave them a little bit of a finish recently. And just made some scratch-built window boxes there on the windowsills. Bit of vegetation going on in the gardens. The postman there delivering the letter. And next door to that, we've got the school building, where I think I'm going to put the school building there. That looks pretty good. And obviously the church in the middle lifts off as well, as does the signal boxes. Again, everything is just resting on the baseboard, so when it's time to put everything away, they can be lifted off safely and stored. We've got the brewery building back in business, and there's a little bit of an in-joke for people in the UK. Anyone overseas, you might not get this, but I made up a rather sort of tongue-in-cheek name for the brewery. And if you're not sure what that is about, Google up what it is on Google. Brahms and Liszt is a Cockney rhyming slang in the UK for slightly drunk. But yeah, that's pretty cool there. And next to it, yeah, his stepdad and son are back. We've got the old man there, bossing the son around as usual. Poor old Harold going out on Hercules and the cart for another day out and around. The steptoe yard is scratch built, by the way. I built that many years ago all by myself. We've got a coal merchants next door around the back of there, and this wonderful super quick, not super quick, it's Metcalfe, should I say. This is a Metcalfe brand card built brewery. And I wish I could say that I did this, but I did not. I had a gentleman I paid some money for, and he runs a company that builds these up for people, and a fantastic job that he did as well. Apart from another little tongue-in-cheek scenario. Again, if you're not from the UK, you won't understand this, but there, may God rest his soul, is Mr. Fred Dibner up the chimney, up the ladder. All the staging, scaffolding and all the ladders I scratch built and did those all myself. And I've seen a couple of people out there in the modelling forums that maybe have copied this idea. If they have, brilliant, inspiration, but I like to think I'm the first person to model this. So that's our brewery there. Like I say, all these buildings just simply lift off. And this morning I got these in the post from Model Shop. These wheels, cobblestone sheets. So I laid those down, they're all in place. Obviously they're not going nowhere, they can stay on the baseboard, they have to anyway. And yeah, I'm quite pleased with that actually. So that's what I did. Let's put that back on there. That simply sits on there like that. And that's the beauty of having these buildings, because you can just take them off once you finish with the layout or you need to put everything away. Obviously if this was permanently set up, it would be ideal, but it's not. But so far, geographically, I think that looks pretty good. Because the church is always the centre of the village, isn't it? So if you go to any English village, it's always the focal point of the community, and certainly it's the main building in the little village area. So that's what I've done with that. So yeah, that works okay. I'll tell you what is fixed down is this Pico loading dock. That's fixed in place. That's definitely staying on there as a permanent fixture. It's plastic, it's lightweight, and it's a low scale building, so it's not going to stick up and get damaged, because everything is sort of sticking. When this layout actually gets rested up vertically, the water tower adds as like a little stop block for everything else touching the side of the wardrobe, so nothing's going to get damaged. The engine shed, you might notice something a bit different. The coaling stage, or the coaling tower, which was there, that normally goes there, but I just haven't put that out today. But there's a slight little modification job I've done on the loco shed. I've taken away the middle support where it was 2 arches. I've just cut that away with the Dremel tool and just basically made that into one large standard 2-road opening, and that's on both sides of that engine shed. I've also weathered the inside as well, which makes it look nice and dark and dirty and greasy, just as a loco shed should be. It's never a clean place, it's always dirty. The floor of the inspection pits and the depot I've painted. I just didn't want everything black, so I just painted those over with the same paint as I used the platform and the roads for. Just gave it a little bit of variation, but kept obviously the inspection pits nice and greasy and black, which I think doesn't look too bad. I wanted that sort of concrete look, but sort of dirty concrete where there's some grime and some dirt underneath that. Not spotlessly shiny grey, but if you get the point anyway. So I don't think it looks too bad. Oh, and obviously you might have noticed our lighting towers. So we got some lights there, some depot lights there. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, one there by the signal box. These are all have been tested. These are off the old layout, so they all work basically. I tested them this morning, so they have been recycled onto the new layout. Save buying more. They're in, they're working. The only thing is they're not connected or wired up yet. The wires are just sitting underneath the baseboard ready to go as and when I get round to doing that one day. But they're in, and at least from a visual point of view, they look like they're supposed to be there and they're doing something. They just don't light up right now because I haven't done the wiring as mentioned, so I will get around to doing that. That'll be another day, another project, but still so much to do on this layout. A lot of people, or some people, have obviously watched this video, and I know 1 or 2 of you have said that I've done quite a lot in a short space of time, and I have to agree. And I haven't been rushing it. I've just basically been doing little bits at a time. Some bits very time consuming. Like at the moment, let me just move this out of the way. This is going to be our pond over here. It's varnish. It is clear varnish. It looks blue at the moment, but whitey blue, whatever colour, but it's actually drying. And underneath there, I've painted that dark green, and it's just starting to come through there. So I've beaded that around the edge with some silicone glue from a hot glue gun, and that little stone in the middle is going to be where some wildlife are going to sit on there, possibly a heron or something like that. And that little stone was found right next to my daughter's school, where we live. So I saw it on the floor yesterday, and I thought, oh, I actually had a dream about putting a stone in my pond. And lo and behold, I got up the next day, went to school with my daughter, and there it was on the floor, the exact stone I kind of wanted. So that was meant to be. So there we go. Nice little story with that. So that's drying at the moment. A little tip, if you're using varnish on a model railway, I made the mistake. This is actually interior varnish as opposed to outdoor varnish. Outdoor varnish is more sort of treacly in consistency, and it's a bit more thicker. But this stuff does dry okay. It does do the job, and it does look nice and shiny when it's finished. I've given it quite a few coats over the last day or so. This is the final coat, so it will dry. If you need to speed it up and you don't want to have the window open, you can use a portable fan, or you can, believe it or not, if you ask your lady friend or partner who you live with very nicely, they might let you borrow their hairdryer. And if you use it on a very cool setting, you can just whiz over it to speed up the process. But I'm going to give this a couple of hours to dry, and then we'll see how it goes. But anyway, not much really to talk about today apart from what I've been doing. Building wise, as you can see, I've got the station buildings over there that are missing. A couple of buildings on the layout haven't been put out today because I just haven't put them out. I've been busy just doing a few things here and there. But I wanted just to show you what it's going to look like when it's normally in place. And I think I'm going to go with this option because it does look pretty good. And you can see the difference between the roadway and the grass area as well. I can see that on my camera. Not sure if you can see that well at home, but I think it looks pretty good. And again, that is a bit of an in-joke, having the Steptoes living next to a brewery. Cool. Brahms and Lish we got, Harold. Yeah, that's the old man. Oh, bloody chimney up here needs cleaning. Oh, blimey. Oh, it's a right mess up here, you know. Yeah, you like that. I must stop now, seriously. But yeah, that's very good. Quite pleased with that. So anyway, guys, sorry there's no trains running around today, but again, just placing the buildings and getting some things stuck down in place and a little bit more fiddling on the layout. And what else have we done before we go? Oh yeah, I'll show you this before we go. We put all the buffer stops in on the end of the sidings over there. I'll just bring this round. There we go. Those are in place. Again, a little dab of PVA glue on the end of the legs to keep them in place. A little bit of vegetation, not too much overdone, but again, so much to do around there. The whole layout needs little finishing touches. You're never finished with something like this, even something this size. There's always something to do. The loading dock over there, there's a hole drilled underneath the lift shaft, which is a chunky bit of building on the end there for the steps. That's a dummy lift shaft for obviously for the goods lift, and in there's wiring for the LEDs that are underneath the roof strip. They've been drilled through the baseboard. Again, the wire's just underneath the baseboard now, hanging there ready to be connected up and wired up to switches. So obviously that lights up and it's permanently in place, as are the tower lights. So everything's in, they do work. I just got to connect them up to switches, and that's another big project for another day. Anyway, I'll have to love and leave you. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Have a nice weekend, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon. Bye bye now.